Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Commonwealth Home Ownership Real Estate Investing Podcast. This is Phil Wong. With me as always is Brad Price, and joining us today is Adrian Pannozzo from Executive Properties Capital based out of Newmarket, Ontario. Welcome, Adrian.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. I was hired as a police officer at a very young age. I want to say I got on the force at 23 years old. While I was still a police officer, I had the thought process that I wanted to start investing in real estate and really just, have a couple rental properties and subsidize my pension when I complete my 30 years on the job. So maybe one or two cash flowing properties that would allow me to equal what I'm making or what I was making then, even though I'd be, retired. We didn't have any money in the bank, and I say we, meaning my wife and I, but we did have equity in our home. And we decided to wake up that sleeping money, if you will, use that equity in our home through the power of the HELOC and start buying a couple of rental properties. Full-time policing, part-time landlord, back and forth, back and forth. 5 years ago, we started a joint venture. Financially was able to leave, good paying job, pension, benefits, the whole 9 yards, and essentially live life on my terms, retire early, and live off of cash flow. I wanted to create wealth and generational wealth through real estate. And I knew I wanted to do that. And again, create some kind of secondary income with respect to cash flow to help me and my family long term. I would reach out to as many different investors that I found on Google or potential podcasts as well. Some of the interviews on podcasts are a wealth of information that I gleaned as well. I've spoken to so many investors over the years, and you can do all the research in the world, but sooner or later, you got to pull the trigger. And I'm so fortunate that I did, because it completely changed my life. Because I didn't have very many negative experiences, it encouraged me to keep going and obviously became lucrative. So in 2017, I left the police department after 21 years. And ultimately, I decided, hey, I'm obviously good at what I'm doing here, and things are going well, and all my properties are appreciating in value, and it just all kind of came together. Maybe it was a bit by accident or a lot of hard work, or maybe a bit of both, and changed my mindset. Ultimately in 2017, I financially don't need to be working shift work anymore and, have the police career. I can turn this into being a full-time investor. The expertise that I've come to learn being involved in so many buy, renovate, refinance projects, I have a very solid understanding on obviously the numbers, and I have a solid understanding on how everything plays out, renovation costs, renovation budgets, dealing with city architectural fees, permit fees. With the buy, renovate, refinance, at the end of the day, it's one thing to know, okay, is our purchase price good? It's one thing to know, is our renovation budget good? But okay, if we're doing all these improvements to the property, what's this property going to be worth 8 months to a year from now when our renovations are going to be complete? And in the past 5 to 6 years, we've really turned our investing world into strategically just utilizing the BRRRR, the buy, renovate, refinance, rent, and repeat. And in the last 2 years, we haven't left a nickel, not a penny of our capital in the property upon refinance. People say, what's the rate of return? Well, the rate of return is infinite, because you don't have any money left in the deal. You have cash flow, you have debt pay down, you have passive appreciation. Again, it all started from not having any money in our savings account, but having equity in our home that we leveraged. A lot of times I deal with investors and they're like, well, it's now a good time. The market's high, the market's this, the market's that. My model, it's time in the market as opposed to timing the market. The appreciation is not coming strong at the onset of a BRRRR. Appreciation really factors in and is nice. It's like the icing on the cake after the BRRRR is completed. And now we're letting that property sit. Let's forget about it. Tenants are paying down our debt. It's appreciating over time, year after year after year after year. Forget about it. Leave it. Some of the properties I first bought 10 years ago, I still have in my portfolio. I've never sold them. And most of them now, I was buying stuff 10 years ago for $350. Most of them now are doubled in value. I still have them. They're still in my portfolio. My mindset could be different from others, but again, it's long-term wealth. We know going in, based on comparable sales, what this property is going to refinance for. Now, obviously, if there's a huge market correction, like, we're in the middle of a 6-month reno and 2 months in, there's a 10% drop in real estate. That's going to affect our refinance. The passive appreciation is not significant enough during a 6-month reno that's going to affect our analysis. We're basing our analysis on what's happening in the market at that time and comparable properties and what they're selling for. So even though we bought it at 5 and it was a complete disaster, we have now, dumped in, let's just say $100,000 and raised that value of that home based on comparable properties that are completely renovated in that geographical area. We started our own construction company about 3.5 years ago now. We wanted to do that because we wanted to control the construction and not really have to outsource that and rely on, a general contractor to come when he has time. And every general contractor is super busy, right? They'll come for a week, then they'll disappear for 2 weeks, then they'll come back for a week. We wanted to control that and have our people in place so our projects can get done on time and on budget. So although it was intimidating, it wasn't the hardest decision because I financially showed myself that road I built for myself was over the course of 10 years. We started our own property management company that facilitates and takes care of all of our properties. And I was able to leverage a lot of time that takes off my plate by having those companies in place. And I could focus on just continuing to build my portfolio. If you're just starting out and you treat it and you have a mindset of a business, especially when it comes to tenants, you're going to have some good tenants. Hopefully you don't have very many bad ones, but regardless of the relationship or how you're looking at it, you have to have a mindset, even with tenants, that it's a business. Don't be afraid to serve them the proper paperwork if they don't pay their rent on the first of the month. Bringing in a partner, i.e. a joint venture partner, who is able to qualify, and you're both bringing something to the table. My business partner, who I own the company with, he also runs a successful podcast. I want to say it's Breakthrough Real Estate Investing Podcast. My business partner in real estate, Sandy Mackay, he runs that podcast with one of his partners. He asked me to be interviewed. A lot of people resonate with my story and how I started out with nothing and took a leap of faith and started to reach out to me as a result of that. It is possible to go rags to riches. It is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. And I welcome being able to help other people. And that's my way of giving back. Because again, real estate investing changed my life. And if I can help you or convince you or answer a question you may have, steer you in that direction as well, by all means, let's do it. Surround yourself with a power team, maybe a coach, maybe a JV, whatever you fancy. And like I tell people, even if you joint venture with somebody once, use them as a sponge, learn from them. And then maybe the second project you burr on your own or with a family member or friend. Shoot me an email, executiveproperties@rogers.com. You can visit our website and contact us through there if you just want to chat. I'm just looking to give back. Like I said, real estate changed my life. And if somebody just needs to talk or a little bit of advice, by all means, we're at investwithepc.com. You want to run something by me or pick my brain about something, and if I can help you, get over that hurdle or that struggle, I'm here for you.
Well, it's a great story, Adrian, and we really, really appreciate you taking the time to share it with us and our listeners.
Thanks for having me again. I hope people listening will get something out of it and pull the trigger, take the plunge, just do it.